Item number 11, professional services agreement with Veer and Peers for the preparation of a traffic study for El Margarita Master Plan area. Diana.
Good evening. As you mentioned, the item before you tonight is the award of a professional services agreement to Veer and Peers of Roseville for the preparation of a traffic study for the El Margarita Master Plan area. Back in 2005, the City Council adopted a resolution which adopted 12 growth policies for development within the city's sphere of influence. They established boundaries for master plan areas and specific plan areas and indicated that developments within those areas had to prepare either a master plan or a specific plan in order to proceed forward with development. Within the last few months, the city has received 2 applications for tentative maps within the El Margarita Master Plan area, which is the area that's bounded on the west by the future extension of Western Parkway, on the south by Franklin Road, on the east by Harding Road, and on the north it kind of falls between Highway 20 and just south of Spirit Way. Some of the master plan elements include land use design criteria, public facilities, and when we say public facilities, we're looking at transportation, sewer collection and treatment capacity, water distribution and supply, storm drainage, schools, police and fire, parks, administrative offices and corporation yard, and levies. It also looks at financing. How will these improvements be financed through the development? And then does a final comparison of the master plan or specific plan to the council adopted 12 growth policies. Based upon the location of this area and somewhat existing infrastructure in the vicinity, many elements from a public works standpoint are nearly complete. With the Prop 84 waterline project, we will have water to the area, and it will extend on George Washington Boulevard, which kind of bisects this area. It'll be on Franklin Road to the south. We already have water line on Harding Road, and there's also a water line partially up El Margarita Road along El Margarita Estates. Storm drainage, this area drains to the Live Oak Canal. It's covered under the West Yuba City Master Drainage Study, which Yuba City and Sutter County are near completion to finalize. And then for sewer, over the past few months, Mandeep Chauhan in Public Works has been analyzing the existing collection system and then also reevaluating the sewer master plan to see how we can serve many developments, but also specifically this area. So from a Public Works perspective, the only element that has not been analyzed is transportation. And so we requested a proposal from Veer and Peers. They prepared the city's travel demand model many years ago. They've made several updates as developments have occurred within the city and as well as projects. And they're proposing to analyze 14 intersections to determine impacts from the proposed development. So based upon all of this, staff is recommending that the city take the lead on the preparation of the master plan. And Aaron would need to hire a consultant. Aaron Bush, the Community Development Director, would need to hire a consultant to prepare the land use design criteria, bring together the public facilities components, and then also have a financing consultant on board to kind of wrap everything together into a final master plan document so any developments within the area can refer to that document for those specific items. And so staff is recommending award of a professional services agreement to Veer and Peers of Roseville for the preparation of a traffic study in the amount of $66,000 with the finding that it's in the best interest of the city. And we're requesting a budget transfer of $76,000 from unallocated developer impact fees for roads to the project account number. The city will have the opportunity to be reimbursed for these funds as development occurs within the area. We will charge them for the cost, the city's cost for preparation of the master plan, including consultant costs and city time, city staff time. And so we will have that mechanism to get reimbursement. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Diana?
Diana, just for the benefit of the public that's here and at home, what is the difference between a specific plan and a master plan?
I will try to take a shot at this answer. I'm not the community development guru, but my understanding is a specific plan gets down into even more details related to a master plan. I don't know, Darren, maybe you can correct me on this, but I think that it goes somewhat of a step further beyond the master plan. Darren, does that sound correct? Don't hold me to that answer because I'm not 100% positive. I think that's it.
Councilwoman Starkey.
I'm sorry. Through the mayor. So this pretty much ties up the last piece we need to put this all together.
For Public Works.
Right.
Aaron Bush will need to hire a consultant to
Correct.
prepare the land use and design, and then also the financing, and then bring the entire document together. The only reason I bring it up tonight, if there's a possibility that that contract's below $50,000, it would not come back to council for award. So I'm just kind of giving a brief overview of the master plan process tonight because that contract may not come back to council for award.
Okay, then that being the case and the fact that we're going to get reimbursed as development occurs, I would move the recommendation.
I still have a question.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, I'm sorry,
We've got
I
a
didn't mean to be
motion.
premature.
So we've got a motion, and if I can get a second, then we'll go back to questions.
I'll second the
Okay,
motion.
we've got a motion and a second. Go ahead.
And so this will be just, the traffic study is just one element of the master plan. Now, in a lot of cases, the landowner, the person developing the property, pays for these funds up front and then gets reimbursed as their neighbors develop. But we're, in this case, are going to pay, Yuba City is going to pay for this plan, and then we're going to get reimbursed as people develop and use the product that we're creating. Is
That's
that true?
correct, and it's not different than what we did for the Lincoln East specific plan.
Mm-hmm.
The city fronted the cost for that, and we'll get reimbursed as development occurs within that area.
Okay. So the cost of this, just the traffic study, 66, and as you said earlier, you don't know, Aaron, our community development director, would know what the total cost of the master plan is going to be, but it's going to be used from the impact fees collected from previous projects?
The $66,000 is coming from unallocated developer impact fees for roads. That was, yes, collected from previous projects.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you go back to that map, just for clarification purposes for myself and help me understand here real quick, you mentioned that the trunk line, you're coming down George Washington is for the water, and Franklin and El Margarita. And then what about the sewer line? Wasn't there a connection at River Valley High School, kind of where that is?
There's currently a 24-inch sewer line on Harder Parkway.
Okay.
There's a lift station at the intersection of Harder Parkway and Lassen Boulevard. And what the constraint is right now, there's a 12-inch sewer line on Lassen Boulevard from Harder Parkway to Walton Avenue. There's also an existing 24-inch sewer line on Harding Road. And so there are elements in place that help us implement the master plan. And so through Mandeep's study of the existing collection system and the reevaluation of the master plan, we have some recommended improvements that allows us to allow additional development to occur while we're also implementing the wastewater master plan in a phased approach, in a phased realistic approach.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, just a food for thought as development picks up. One of the things that we don't want to do is cut ourselves short.
Right.
And piecemeal a project together because we've got somebody who wants to come first to the trough and get their development done, and then the rest of them can't get done. And it was poor judgment on our part of not looking at the broader picture. And moving forward as development continues to pick up, and I think that's the problems that have got us in trouble in the past, as we look at these projects to make sure that it services the entire development and not a specific piece of it, and they're gone and they're sold, and we're still sitting here in the same trying to piecemeal this thing together.
Right. Yeah, and that's the purpose of the master plan, to make sure that the entire development's taken into account when you're sizing the infrastructure, the fees. And when we're sizing the infrastructure, we're even looking beyond that specific development. We're looking at what actually implements our master plans.
Right, because if we paid some of these costs for the Lincoln East Pacific plan, and Lincoln East Pacific Plan doesn't get developed for various reasons, the city's going to be out for a long time holding a big chunk of that money. And so we're really not in funding development business in a sense. So just be very, very cautious on that.
Through the mayor. We have what, 2-3 master plans going on. This one, East Lincoln, and the one north of there. We don't have the infrastructure, certainly the sewer service, the capacity in and trunk lines to have them all, as the mayor said, to take care of them all. We should have some sort of priority how, instead of just, first come, first serve, and build that one there and build that one there. And then we'll never get refunded on all the money we're spending on these, the taxpayers are spending on these projects.
Right. One thing that's nice about the master plans is that they somewhat steer where development's going to occur, and that they have an approved plan in place which shows how that development's going to be developed, including fees, everything, phases, everything. And so that's definitely one of the benefits for the master plans, which is why I think in 2005 the council adopted the 12 growth policies and identified those areas as master plan and specific plan areas, is that we didn't want to cut ourselves short in terms of the long-term infrastructure and development goals.
Mayor?
Yes.
The wastewater sewer treatment line would come down El Margarita and then across Franklin and tie in at Harding. Is that correct? Is that what is part of this master plan? Or roughly that direction?
It's roughly that direction. We're looking at a little bit different alignment that we feel would serve the development and our long-term wastewater master plan better. And in fact, we're just waiting right now for Susan Goodwin. We've hired Susan Goodwin to look at financing of infrastructure for the entire kind of sphere of influence to see what the market could bear. And then we as staff have the intention of bringing back 3 workshops to council to discuss these specific items in terms of just general development and growth, and then specifically infrastructure, and then funding. How do we fund infrastructure on a long-term basis, and what are the mechanisms for us to fund the infrastructure? And so we're waiting for Susan to wrap up that study so that we can get these workshops scheduled with the council.
Well, if we go that direction, or that general direction with the sewer line, would we still be connecting Harder Parkway with Harding Road in the future, or is that, so we would be doing both? Is one it might be a short-term option to do that? Is it any less expensive to go one way or the other?
Our proposal is actually the connection of Harder and Harding as the as what we would proceed with first. And actually, that's, if you look at the amount of pipe, that's probably just about the same distance as if you were to go down El Margarita and then across Franklin over to Harding. We would be installing a 24-inch sewer line. And like I said, that would help us implement not only the facilities needed for this specific master plan area, but then also for, serving other developments to the north.
All right.
And to the west.
Thank you.
Any questions? I think you've done a fantastic job, and I would call for the question.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Opposed.
Okay, got one opposed.
Mr. Mayor.
Let's do a roll call vote then.
Oh.
Okay.
Councilmember Starkey?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dukes?
Aye.
Councilmember Buckland? Aye. Councilmember Mon?
Opposed.
Mayor Gill?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, just a point of clarification. I'd like to thank Diana for being able to respond to all of those spontaneous questions. It takes a remarkable mind to be able to do that. But the reassurance to you is that when the master plan document is complete, ultimately we'll come back before your council, and it will document all of those questions that you've just asked in one place, so that it'll be a reference piece for you to be able to ask additional questions, and also for developers in the area to know what the community, meaning the council's expectations for construction are in that area. So that will come back to you at a future date. All right.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Diane.